Live well, win well. It's on point with Juandolyn Stokes right here on News and Talk, WAOK. And I want to welcome Invest Fest is coming to Atlanta this week, but I want to welcome Aaliyah Duah to share with us today. And welcome to On Point. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate your time this morning.
How are you, Aaliyah? You doing good?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes.
Yes, we're glad to have you sharing with us today. I want our audience to know exactly who you are. Aaliyah is a 22-year-old Brooklyn native and founder of Financial Revolution, and she's recognized as HBCU Entrepreneur of the Year. Congratulations
Thank you.
by Black Enterprise. She's also pitching a finance game show to major networks, and she's led national campaigns for McDonald's, earning recognition as a change leader in 2024. And she considers herself the earn your leisure of the younger generation and represents the next wave of finance leadership. I'm certainly glad to have you sharing with us today. When it comes to finance leadership, for your age and your age group, how do you define that, and how do you recognize it?
No, I think it's a pivotal time, it's a pivotal moment. I've been reading and studying. I read a lot of books on my path to learning financial literacy, and one of the books I read, something I learned, they said that we had the civil rights movement, but we never had a silver rights movement. Talking about the dollar and how we think about money, right? We never had that type of economic impact within our community. And for me, I know my role is I could be relatable to my peers to make sure that I educate them when it comes to financial literacy, and not just the financial literacy aspect of things, but also, the financial trauma that we may have experienced in the past and how that continues to perpetuate, different things that we go through, and how we can, kind of fight through that, and how we can change our mindsets and change how our relationships with money. And I think it's important, and I'm glad to be the one to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You being a change agent for financial literacy, just in a synopsis way of speaking, what is important for individuals to know, like in your age group, about finances? What
I
are some
mean,
foundational things?
yeah, it's a multitude of different things, but I would say the top three things is one, starting now, right? The younger you start, the more time you have for your investments to grow, the more time you have to learn, the more time you have to make mistakes, right? A lot of young people right now, you may not have as many responsibilities as, some adults. So you have the time and you have the environment. You're in a perfect space and environment to really build and focus on building your financial future, right? So it's important to start investing, right? Getting to the stock market, right? Because when you start now, you may not have a lot of money, but if you utilize the money that you have now, as you make more money, you already develop the habits to invest. So by the time you have more money, you already know what to do, and you could just go in and dump more money in there, and then you have more time for that money to be growing. I will also say just developing smart financial habits as well, right? Because life is all about habits. If you have a habit of not making up your bed in the morning, right? That's a habit you have. If you have a habit of not knowing how to, save $1, when you get 100, you're gonna have the same habit. It's just that you got more money now, right? So it's just, investing, developing smart financial habits, and most importantly, be consistent, right? I think a lot of young people have a hard time seeing things through because where it looks like a lot of things come fast, right? It looks like a lot of things are supposed to come easy. And if it doesn't come in the first month, it's not working. No, when I study wealthy people, when I look at them, they've been building and doing things for a very, very long time. And that consistency every day is what paid off and helped them in the future get to where they are.
Hmm. What is one of the top things that you've learned from some of your mentors or some of the books that you've read? What is one of the top things that you learned?
A lot of different things. I would say one thing that shifted my mindset the most was really understanding the difference between an asset and a liability. And not even just from a financial standpoint, but also from a life standpoint, right? Just making sure you have more assets around you, you're investing in more assets, and it's okay to have some liabilities, but you want to have more assets and less liabilities. And a lot of people live their lives where they have way more liabilities than assets, right? So assets are, people who are adding value to you. These are mentors, these are your parents, these are people who could really pour into you. Assets when it comes to finances are things that you own that kind of generates revenue and helps you make money, and that's the wealth building tools. But then liabilities are things that's like taking money out your pocket, right? So going out all the time, partying, drinking, always eating out, things like that. These are all liabilities. And then liabilities in your life could be, friends that have negative mindsets, people who are not pouring into you, right? So it's just like really making sure you're protecting your environment, because your environment, kind of helps you, shapes what you do on your day-to-day basis, and just also making sure that you're making smart financial decisions.
What would you say to a parent who has a teenager who's graduating? They're in their last year of high school, thinking about what's next. What would you say to that parent that would help to channel that person to make better financial decisions and to focus on wealth building?
I would say being honest, right? I think a lot of times growing up, parents have this thing where they want to protect their child from the world and from responsibilities and from what's real. And you kind of just slowly hold their hand and walk them through certain things, and you introduce things little by little. But sometimes I feel like in the same breath, that can also withhold or just kind of hold back or slower the process of people learning, right? And I think that you have to be honest with your child. You have to show your child, this is how much money I make, this is how much it costs for us to live on a monthly basis. If I don't make this much, or if I don't work this many hours, or X, Y, and Z, this is what happens. This is why I may not be able to afford this month, or this is why this is how I was able to pay for this trip. This is how I was able to pay for these shoes, right? Because all of that, your children are gonna have to do one day, right?
Right.
And a lot of times parents hit you with the, you think money grow on trees? Yes, right? Because we just get things, but we're not really understanding the process of how you have to work to get that thing, right? We may see it and you think that we see it, but no, you have to sit us down and show us the process. And that will also help us learn how to do it ourselves, right? So I know some parents who own homes, but they never teach their child on what a mortgage is and things like that. They just have the kid come live in a room and X, Y, and Z. No, like show them the process. How can someone do something better if you don't show them how to do it in the first place? Right? Or you're just trying to hold their hand through everything. And also, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. So, understanding that you have to keep planting little seeds little by little, and then one day it would just kind of grow, right? But if you just try to hit them with everything at once on their senior year, and you're like, they're not getting it, it's because it takes time for things to flourish. So it's very important, I would say, not just to a parent who has a senior, but start elementary school, even younger, little things, teaching them what an asset is. I always like to say, if your child, or as a young kid, you know that you want an Apple iPhone, you know that you want some Jordans, that means that you should know how to go invest in the stock. You
Mm.
should know who owns Nike, right? Because they're going to teach you how to be a consumer, but they're not going to teach you how to be the investor. And that's a problem. And parents don't even know. So it's like the most important thing is for parents to educate themselves so that they can pass down that education to their child as well.
Absolutely. If you had it your way, when do you think financial literacy should start in the school system?
In the school systems, I think financial literacy should start as soon as you learn your ABCs.
Yeah, okay,
No,
okay.
no, I'm being honest, because like I remember my young self at like 5, 6, like saying, "Mom, Dad, I want an icy." Like I knew how to articulate that I wanted things,
Yeah.
right? So if I know how to articulate that I want something, I should know, also start to begin to understand the process on how to get that, right? Okay, the icy costs $2. How do I make $2? What are the different, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel
Yes,
like if you
yes.
know that you want something, you should know how to get it, right? So as soon as you hit that age, I think you should be learning about financial literacy.
That's great. That's great. Let's go to break and we'll come back with more right here, News and Talk, WAOK. I want to ask you while we on break
Mhm.
on the radio side, but the video side, um, how young do you remember you having this interest in finances and wealth building?
Honestly, it It started, I would say, in like high school, where I always had like an entrepreneurial mind. That I always had that in a money mindset. Like I want to make money because I always wanted something. Right?
Okay.
I always needed money to get it. But the financial literacy aspect really came during a pandemic when I was interning at a law firm and I saw how I couldn't work there anymore. And that was my only stream of income. And I was 16, right? And in my mind, a thought hit like, imagine if I had like a family and I wasn't able to work. But I also knew that we were still spending money, right? Because we still had to buy food, toilet paper, all that stuff. So it just really hit me like, what do you do? Like, what, like, because people are making money, it's just not me. So
Mhm.
that right there really like sparked everything in my whole like financial journey.
Wow, wow, that's great. And when it came to investments, um, what was your first investment, or what age, was your first investment, and what piqued your interest in it?
Well, I would say my first like actual real investment was when I first started a business. I used to buy and sell online when I was in high school. So I would get like sneakers when they first come out, and then go and resell it for a higher price, or I would buy like these Supreme headbands and for a really cheap price, and then go sell it overseas to like people in Japan. They would pay me like, I would buy it for like 40, $50, and they'll pay me like 250 for it, right? And that's when and this is all online, and sometimes I wouldn't even have the product. Like I would just show the picture, and I would take the money that they pay me to buy the product and then ship it over to them, right?
Wow.
So that's when I started to see like, how money works, right? And then I kind of just I fell off of that for a while. Then I got into stocks, and I started investing into the stock market, and I started buying stocks that I understood. So I got like Nike because I had like a whole bunch of sneakers and Nike clothes.
Yes.
And I got like Apple, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, we're talking to Aaliyah Duah, a 22-year-old Brooklyn native and founder of Financial Revolution, as she's talking to us, about financial literacy, wealth management, wealth building, and things of that nature. Aaliyah, tell us about what books that stood out to you the most. Just the top three books that have kind of help you along the journey, or that you recommend to young people to read?
Yes, for sure. The first book, of course, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That book is a great book. It tells a story between how one father teaches his kid, and he's a rich dad, so he has like a kind of rich mindset, and then another father teaches his kid. He's like a typical American, like go to work, pay this off, like type of thing, and it shows the difference in the mindsets, which creates the difference in the reality. So I think that's a very good book to start with. And then after you read that book, I would like to say go to Think and Grow Rich, because Think and Grow Rich is going to give you, and that's by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is going to give you like the mindset shift, right? It's going to help you understand and look at money differently. And then another book that I recently read that I think is just awesome is How Money Works, right? Because that book basically talks about the system of black banks and how we've been held back in different areas, and you'll have a better appreciation for learning financial literacy when you see how much work goes into people making sure that you don't get access to information, right? So I would say those are the top three books.
Who's the author of the How Money Works?
It's Mersa. I always get her last name wrong, but it's Mehrsabarban, something like that.
That's
uh,
good. I think these are great resources. What do you say to uh, young people, even ages, I'm going to say like 12 to 25, right? That are having online success, with money coming in through ads, through TikTok, through all these different ways. What is your advice to that age group who's got money coming in like that, but maybe not handling it right, or don't have a great relationship with money, or understand how money works?
yeah, I would say You got the first step down, which is cool, right? Making the money, but it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. And then to go even further, it's not about how much you keep, it's about how much you're able to make work for you. Right. So like wealthy people, and just me studying a whole bunch of wealthy people, they utilize money to buy back their time. Right. So like a lot of times we look at money as like the ultimate thing. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get to the money. But no, money is just the tool that gets us to the thing that we want. So if you want that really nice house, money is a tool that's going to get you to the house. Right. But if you keep spending your money, you'll never get to the thing. Right. So you have to change your relationship with money and think about, how can I utilize this money that I made or I'm making to buy back my time so that I don't have to work as hard again. Right. So make money work for you because it's a tool. Right. So if you're making quick money, and I get it, right? It's hard to be disciplined with money. There's time when you just want to splurge. Like you see the money in your account, you're like, I want to spend it. And I get that feel. I'm no different, y'all. I get that same urge too. But when I get that urge, I change what started to change what I spend my money on. So my thing is like I love sneakers, right? I'll buy a pair of sneakers, right? But I started doing this. I said, okay, if I'm gonna get these Prada shoes, right, and these shoes cost $900, right, I'm gonna make sure I invested $900 as well, right? Because two things got to happen, right? You have to make sure you're investing your money, right? So put your money aside so that you can have money growing for you and working for you, and then also get the things that you want. It's okay, but just budget accordingly for that. And last thing I would say is just understand that you have peak seasons. Everything is seasonal. Don't think, and this is for everybody. Even the best of the best go through down seasons. That's just how life works. So don't think just because you having a good year that you won't have a bad one next year. And not necessarily a bad year, but just a slower season where money may not be coming in as quick or as fast or whatever as it was prior. So you have to prepare for those seasons, right? So like they say, prepare for a rainy day. That's you putting money aside. That's you investing money.
That's good. That's good. With the as you being the founder of Financial Revolution, are you teaching classes or workshops to younger generations?
Yes, I am. So I started a program in schools. I currently live in New York City. So I started a program in New York City, and I have about my first year, I did 10 schools that I work with. And last year, we've closed off with 25 schools that we work with. It was over 1,000 young people that we help. We also work with parents as well. We've done family workshops, bringing a family together. So with that, they're able to learn about credit. They're able to learn about investing. This year, I'm teaching them day trading, where they're actually learning real skills. They're learning about entrepreneurship, right? Everything that they need to know when it comes to money, financial literacy, but also mindset. That's what my program offers. We make it fun. We make it relatable. We go on trips, and we just make it a overall experience for our youth.
That's great. That's great. And is some of this training and stuff available to the public at large, or you only have to be a part of the school system?
Yeah, so it's crazy that you asked this question. We're actually working on something for the public at large to offer. I've done like summer camps, like virtual summer camps, where people from all over can tune in and they have their children join on. But we are working on something to bring to the public at large, because a lot of people are like, hey, I want my child a part of this.
Yes, yes, yes. I can imagine parents and grandparents, wanting their children to learn more and to learn from someone like you that's experienced and a role model to so many. So you are pitching a finance game show. What are you hoping to accomplish with the finance game show? Like
Yeah.
helping people to learn and build a better relationship with money too?
Yes, so I created. I currently have two games, card games. One is called Rap Cards. It uses rap lyrics to teach finance terms. We have
Great.
81 cards in the deck, and we also have another game called Broker Brilliant. Broker Brilliant is a financial literacy drinking game. You don't have to drink to play. But it's like a fun trivia game that tests your financial knowledge. So with the game show, as I was playing Broker Brilliant and rap cards with people, they're like, I love this. Like, I really love this. And I would record people, get the clips, and people love it. So I'm like, it'll be super dope to turn this into like a game show that's kind of like Family Feud style mixed with a little bit of Jeopardy, like a little bit of trivia. And I'm not going to say everything, but it's going to be a really, really dope experience. And I'm hoping to roll it out on different HBCU campuses right now, to get like the students going against each other. So like, let's think of like a Morehouse versus a Spelman, or I went to Virginia State. So like a Virginia State versus Virginia Union. These are like the things that we're currently pitching right now.
That's great. That's great. So are you working with Invest Fest this year? Are you part of it?
Yes, so I will have a booth at InvestFest. I'll be at a booth 1135. Y'all can come check me out. I have my games, my books, everything there. We're gonna have a good vibe. But I'll also be speaking tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. In the vendor marketplace. Doing a panel with Kevin Riley, who is a council member in the Bronx, New York, and Travis Brown, who is a principal of a school in New York as well. And we're going to be talking about how politics intersects with education.
Wow, that's great. Well, this is going to be wonderful. Invest Fest coming here to Atlanta at I think it's at the Georgia World
Yes,
Congress Center, right? Yeah,
correct.
Georgia World Congress Center, August 22nd through the 24th. And certainly one can be a part of it. Let our audience know how they can connect with you, how they can follow you.
Yes, for sure. Again, I am Aaliyah Duah. You can connect with me at Financial Revolution on every platform: Instagram, TikTok, whatever, YouTube. Financial Revolution. It is two N's at the end of revolution, but that's me.
Awesome. And any final thoughts, any closing thoughts?
No, I would say, guys, just, the most important thing is to start, be consistent, and it's important to find your purpose, because you never know who is lacking or who needs your help, and who you can help through you fulfilling your purpose. So, thank you for your time today. And yeah.
What are your thoughts about we used to give kids coins,
Mhm.
to save quarters, nickels, and dimes. What are your thoughts about the future of coins in America?
The future of coins. I mean, I definitely think things are changing for sure. Everything is turning digital. Like, if you even think about Bitcoin, right? It's a coin, but it's a digital coin, right? Or even think about it like the average person doesn't even carry cash anymore, for real. So let alone coin. So I do think it's something that's going to become like a valuable asset because it's of the past. But I think it's going to take time for us to get to that point, right? Like,
I
things,
see.
it happens over time. Like, as now, I don't even feel the need to carry my wallet besides just my ID, because I have Apple Pay on my phone. Like, you
Yeah.
know, so I think, but it happens slowly. Like, now I'm just like, oh, I don't need a wallet. But it was a time when I needed a wallet just a couple of years ago. So things are gonna slowly just like, okay, we don't need coins no more, and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. One final thing to the parent or the grandparent who's talking to their child who works a job but spends the check the minute they get it. What do you suggest to that parent to try to help transition that child to realize that they need to think differently about money and not getting paid on a Friday morning, and by Friday 8 p.m. they don't have any more money from their check?
Well, it goes back to what I said earlier, right? It's just leading by an example. A lot of times, young people pick up their habits based off of who they see around them, right? So if you don't, make smart financial decisions with your check, let your son or your daughter or your grandchild may not do the same thing. And I also think showing them results. A lot of times when I go into the school systems and I show the kids like, hey, I got this check, I got $400. I took that $400 and I put it into a stock. Now that $400 turned into $450, right? Because that's a realistic thing, right? I'm not going
Yeah.
to tell you it turned into $1,000 in a day.
Yeah, yeah,
So let's say it turned into $450. Now, $50 isn't a lot of money, but what I tell them is, look, y'all, I did not have to do any physical labor for me to make that money. I didn't
right.
have to move a needle to make that money, right? The money is being made for me. So now think about if you, instead of having just $400, you had $4,000, right? So all they have to see is that it's possible. And I think that if you start investing and you start showing your child, how it works and putting that in their face, they'll be more inclined to do it because they're seeing the results and they like the results. Everybody always wants to make more money and not have to do anything to make it.
Right, right. Earn at your leisure.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Wishing you well at Invest Fest this weekend. Thank you for coming to the ATL and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with our audience and with the world. Thank you so much, Aaliyah. Have a great one now.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
You're more than welcome. It's On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, right here, News and Talk, WAOK. Thank you. We
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
We hope to see you this weekend,
Yes,
okay?
you gonna be down there?
Yes, I'm going to try to come through there. Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so I'll see you this weekend. All
Okay.
right.